Hey guys, Eli here to talk about the Consecrated Path Chieftain, or what was a Chieftain, in Trials of the Ancestors for 3.22. Biggest change is that the Chieftain is dead in pretty much every way. The Ascendancy kind of sucks now, so it's hard to see what we'd want to use this for. So instead, for this build with Consecrated Path Totems, we are going to pivot to the Ascendant. The reason we do this is we're getting 60 flat strength from these nodes here. And for the Chieftain, we still get 10% increased strength. We get our chance to cover enemies in Ash, which gives us 20% more fire damage. And we're still getting unaffected by Ignite, which is nice. And we're getting Totems Taunt. Now, this is useful because we're losing our leech. We can't leech our damage from our totems anymore. And that's kind of a problem. So instead, we're going to be taunting and hope that's kind of enough to make up for it. We're going to have to use our life flask. Another notable change is that our total life in what I'm doing here is 4,900. And the biggest change is we got rid of these life and armor nodes right here in favor of putting these three nodes into our large cluster jewel to get some more damage, elemental resistances, and life, and another medium jewel here for Ancestral Echo and Ancestral Guidance. This kind of helps shore up a little bit of the damage gap that we lost from changing over to Ascendant. Additionally, because we are starting over here with this cluster, we are getting a little bit more resistances right off the bat, as well as another jewel slot. And this is really important because we're going to get another 10% elemental resistance here. And the big thing we're missing also from the Chieftain, as you'll see here in the fire resistance section, is we don't get plus 100% fire resist. So now we have to actually solve that stat. I haven't changed out any of my gear that I had from last league, and really it's going to come down to just swapping out some of our cold and light resist for fire resist. As you can see here, we have 85% overcapped between those two resistances. And so I don't think it's going to be that hard to mix and match and find a way to put that fire resistance on our rings, maybe on our gauntlets and our shield, possibly on the belt. This is a pretty cheap belt that I have right here. It just has really good attribute stats. So if you want to spend a little bit more and get resistance on this as well, then you can go ahead and do that. Other than those changes, nothing else is really going to be different. We're still going to have Power Frenzy charges. We're still going to have Summon Totem recently, Close Range, Ignited, Covered in Ash on Consecrated ground. So our configuration is going to be the same. We're going to be focused. We're still going to use the Kite Shield for double damage with focus. And other than that, everything is really the same. It's kind of a hot pivot over to the Ascendant. And for leveling, we do get Shield Crush from the vendor right off the bat. And so I'm just going to do the same route and come down here, get Unwavering Stance on our way through. And down at this juncture here, we're going to pivot up and to the left. And I'm still going to pick up shield damage and block, and Aggressive Bastion, get that little cluster for a little bit extra damage as we go. And as soon as we get up to Ancestral Bond, we should be right around level 28, I think. And I'll probably swap over to Consecrated Path Totems at 38 once we get multiple totems. So really the leveling process is overall the same. We're getting a little bit more flat resistance to help us make up for the fact that we lost 100% fire resist. We're still getting a lot of bonuses from our Ascendancy. I didn't mention too that the Inquisitor Ascendancy point is better, in my opinion, than the entire Inquisitor Ascendancy itself. I think we're getting all of the best parts of the Inquisitor in this node. And additionally, as the Ascendant, we are getting extra passive points, which helps us get these nodes here in our large cluster, as well as an extra jewel slot. So we have a lot of flexibility. And at the end of the day, our damage is 32 million against Pinnacle and against Ubers. We're sitting at almost 10 million DPS. And what this means in terms of like Ubers that we can still do Uber Eater. That shouldn't be a problem. This build can technically do Uber Elder, but I really wouldn't recommend it because our defenses in terms of spell damage really are quite bad. So I wouldn't really recommend doing that. Regardless, this isn't really an Uber's build unless we get another one of the flat damage from strength modifiers like we did in Sentinel League and technically in last league, but I never saw it. So if you can get another flat damage per 10 strength on this build, then yes, we can do more Ubers. That kind of unlocks for us because we tend to get up more into the 20 to 30 million DPS versus Ubers. But I'm going to assume that we are not getting that in this league. And so this is just going to be our really strong mapper and regular bossing farmer. And that's really going to be it, guys. Just a quick video. Nothing else has really changed, like I said. So dive right in, get on the Ascendant, and let me know how it goes. As always, this is Eli, signing off.